Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unsealed, part of the Racing Insiders podcast. I'm Kate Dillon with Crate Insider and other things. And I'm here today with Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines.
And other things.
What are your other things, Steve?
Oh, I don't know. Just random bullshit.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, so we're here today, and, definitely if you're new to the show, then we encourage people to go ahead and jump in, drop in a comment, leave any questions. We love questions, and we answer them, even if they're tech questions about your race car or random thoughts. We have lots of random thoughts on our show.
And we weren't here last week. Why?
We weren't here because my nephew, Luke, graduated from high school.
There you go.
And so had a graduation party to go to. And, obviously family comes first. And I think family comes first for all of us, and it needs to.
Well,
so
it's part of racing too. So
yeah, absolutely. So certainly we value you, our audience, and sorry for the last minute. We had it scheduled. We just had miscommunication in my office and had it scheduled. And then I just canceled it.
Talking about miscommunications in your office, this week was probably the most epic thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Is this going to be embarrassing?
No, evil assistant Tori.
Oh God.
And Andy Garris from
No,
Profabrication.
No, we are not going to talk about
that. From Profabrication.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about it?
No, we are not.
It was fucking hilarious.
It's less hilarious. It's less hilarious. No, it's not hilarious. It's not.
Oh my God, get a sense of humor, woman.
Well, I think putting somebody else at the butt of a joke isn't that funny. And
what? You mean Andy?
No.
Putting Andy at the butt of a joke is funny every freaking time.
I completely agree with that.
Okay.
But there was another individual where somebody was mismarked as Andy Garris, and it wouldn't be fair to them.
Oh, okay.
So that would be
I got you.
We miscaptioned something is what happened, and Andy found it absolutely hilarious. He called me, but it was, and it wasn't a miscommunication. It was just a mistake.
Well, I bet it was hilarious.
Yeah, well, it's internally hilarious, but it's we don't want to draw light to something that.
Well, I mean,
mistakes.
but let's start out today. Like, this isn't crate racing, but like, what about fucking Brandon Overton? Holy shit!
Tell the story. Some people may not have seen it.
Sweeps the dream, both
of them. That's insane. Wow, I didn't know.
200 and
I've not been on social media.
$267,000 this weekend or something like that.
Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, that kid fucking. I mean, that's freaking phenomenal.
It is.
I mean, oh my God.
That's insane.
And honestly, I mean, I know Brandon since he was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, little known fact, I built his first super late model motor back in the day. But he, I mean, I'd have bet everything on JD.
Yeah.
And Brandon went in there and just whooped everybody's freaking ass
on the weekend. Congratulations to the whole Overton family. Yeah. I mean, I think they all worked so hard together and pushing that team forward. Yep. And who's the chassis? Is it a house car?
Longhorn.
So it's a Longhorn house car?
By Wells.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, congratulations just to everybody on that team. Yeah. That is incredible. I didn't see any of it, and I haven't been on social media, so.
I wouldn't have thought that would have happened. So kudos to him. His entire freaking team, family, crew, everything. Because, I mean, people don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's just amazing. Yeah. So, I remember when he was like a little punk kid that was kind of a little dickhead, actually, back in the day.
Oh, okay.
No, I always liked that kid.
Well, that's good. You say that about a lot of people, so it kind of loses some of its...
No, I built his, like I said, little known fact, I built his first super late model motor, so.
That's really cool. Great. We got some folks here. Scott's here. He says, hi, S&K from California.
There you go.
Got all of our California contingent. By the way, I am in the process. In fact, there's a tape digitizing right now as we speak.
Oh, of Jeff and Pam, or Jeff Silva's tapes?
Jeff and Pam Silva's tapes, yep. So I'm working on that. Actually have a whole new setup so it doesn't get jacked up as much. So cool. I'm really excited.
That's cool.
Really excited about my,
So we should have some more shit posted to the...
Racing Rewind channel. We still need the edit part of it done, but just the long part of it is just waiting for literally the hour and a half, 2 hours for those tapes to digitize. And so I've just been going figure out how to do it in the background.
Yeah.
But if I forget to turn it off, the thing will run for like 24 hours.
Well, it's all right.
Recording it. No, it's not, man. I'll take up an entire server with that. So I got to be careful with
your whole hard drives crash tomorrow.
Oh my God! No, it goes to the server, so
okay.
it's not as bad. All right, Jim is here and Nigel's here. He's from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
So we got California all the way to Australia.
Nice.
My goodness. Wow.
Yep.
Roy's here. Roy Bain is here. We, of course, both have been on his podcast. We're going to have to get Roy on our podcast.
Hang on. I gotta look at this shit.
What are you going to look at? Okay. All right.
All right. Hang on.
Okay. We're waiting for you.
I mean, you keep going.
Okay. Now, Tori is here and she said, Steve, I said, let it die.
I will never let it die.
Yeah, let it die. Let it die. Brian's here. He's got a question. I'm going to come back to Brian's question since Steve's clearly in that he's like focusing on something.
I'm looking at stuff.
Alan is here from Minnesota. So we've got Minnesota.
Nice.
And Andrew is here. And he says, dang, that's a good looking shirt, Steve.
All right. It's 7:35 a.m. in Canberra, where I used to live.
Wow.
So yeah, if he's in Australia, then it's anywhere from 7:35 to like 10:35 roughly. So.
Really interesting. You have Kiev, Frankfurt, Bangkok, Canberra, and Indianapolis. Those are the time zones that you. Is there something I should know about Bangkok?
Well, no, I was gonna go there. I was gonna go there one time with my friend. He used to own a bar there.
I know, but I'm still having
But
fun.
then he told me a horrible story about ladyboys, and then I decided not to go.
I mean, it is Bangkok, but just it is what it is, right? Now I'm representing on my shirt today too. We're representing my brother Jimmy Schultz and Jimmy and Tina from Dirt Rap. So I got my Dirt Rap shirt on today for sure. Now we got a question for you here, Steve, from Brian.
Yeah.
It says 604 box stock, 650 HP Holly, must use 1-inch spacer. Would a tapered spacer or a 4-hole be better for quarter-mile asphalt track?
Tapered 4-hole.
Tapered 4-hole.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Oh, Pat's here. Hello, guys. Have a good show.
Which Pat?
Pat Eisenhower.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, she cut Alex's hair this week. So
she's coming to watch him practice Tuesday night.
Oh, my goodness. So, it's going to be quite the event.
Exactly.
Man, we're going to look like a street stock team. We got the whole stands full.
We got the whole freaking Rutherford County coming to watch him test
for the
first time.
I always think that's super cool. Like how a lot of the street stock guys will just have like 50 people that come with them. I mean, that's just great. Whole fan base right there. Cameron's here. He says, hello, you happy people. Southbound from Eldora, Florida. What an awesome and historic weekend. Yeah, Cameron, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That was
I can't say enough about Brandon.
When was the last time anybody swept the Dream like that, or even the World 100?
JD did. I've got video of him standing on top of his car with a broom, but not.
It's not
two literal races in a row.
Right. No.
Yeah. No, this is this is history here that we just watched happen.
Wow. And Brian said thank you for that. Tell him about the angled carb spacer. Yeah. So tell me, how was your week?
It started out like shit. We lost power at 1 o'clock on Monday, which is it's essentially my busiest day of the week in the sense that we get so many phone calls.
Right.
But this transformer blew up next to the shop, and I'm talking the telephone pole's on fire, the grass around it's on fire. It was a whole thing. And we're okay, well, it's going to take them an hour or two to fix this shit. Well, then our friggin' monsoon thunderstorm rolls in. So yeah, we had no power at all after 1 o'clock on Monday. So if I didn't answer any calls, that's why, because our phones went down. And then I'm sitting there Googling where I can find a normal phone that doesn't require batteries or, plug in the wall, electricity to run. So.
Right.
And I couldn't find one. So there you go.
Wow.
That was I don't know.
It is not a good way to start the week.
No. So the week went downhill from there because you can't get shit. You can't. You're trying to complete jobs and you can't get water pumps and you can't get distributors and you can't get. It's a total clusterfuck right now.
I'll tell you what. I've had a good week because some of those things that I ordered months ago, I got in this week. So things like tandem pumps.
Yeah.
So I've got tandem pumps from KSE.
From KSE, yeah.
I have 3 transmissions in stock now, so a couple of roller slides. And do you know that the regular late model aluminum transmission, it was just approved for this season for IMCA?
Oh, good.
So that's kind of a big
Oh,
deal.
wow. Welcome to 20 years ago.
Well, hey. And so they've been hard to get because it was all of a sudden just a huge rush for those. So I've got one of those on the shelf. We've got matched valve springs, lots.
Declared something legal. Yay. Somebody had to give them a bunch of money to do it. Yay.
Hey, the yay is that I've got it on the shelf, so that's good. We got lots and lots of matched valve springs, so that's good. Yep. There you go. Yeah, so there's a few of those things that have been difficult.
We got like a full-time valve spring matcher now.
I do. It's awesome. I love it. We definitely made big strides at the warehouse. We got shipping. We've really got that under control and got a lot of our stuff moved over. Oh, you mentioned fire. It reminded me. I did hear from Kaiser Wheels this week and from Wade, and just want to kind of put out there to the world that they're definitely rebuilding. And you could actually see he sent like a drone. It was almost like a drone shot of the whole facility. So it's their entire facility didn't burn down, but it's like, if you can imagine your shop, if you had different
one whole section of it apparently.
Right. And of course unfortunately it's the section with all the equipment, but their raw materials were fine. And any Wide 5 inventory that they have, they're sending my way. So I don't know what I'm getting, but
you're getting something.
But I'm getting something. It may not even be beadlocks. I mean, it may not be. Well, maybe standards, but obviously I'll take anything I can get. I am so grateful, so grateful. We've got a great relationship, and obviously anything I can do for them.
Considering it's the best wheel on the market,
it is, and we all need wheels. You're not going anywhere, and there's no tire contacting the racetrack without a wheel to put it on.
Of course, if you can get tires put on the wheels.
Yeah.
That's a totally different damn deal right now.
Yeah, we've got lots and lots of challenges, and I'm just trying to stay ahead of anything I can.
I think Fast Track had to cancel their whole deal at Charlotte because no tires.
We got to come up with a better solution here. We have got to come up with a better solution.
Everybody needs to fucking vote differently because it wasn't a problem before then.
Well, yeah.
Keep giving people free money. They don't want to work.
Well, I'm just trying to
be politically correct.
Well, no, I don't. It's not that. It's just that I really don't want to get kicked off of YouTube.
I haven't said anything bad yet.
No, but if I interjected any of my opinion about voting,
if you go that way,
yeah,
because you'll go off on a rampage.
Oh, I will.
I just make snarky little comments, and you just you go full frickin'.
Hey, you know what? Okay, I have actually some interesting news to tell you. Right. So you've heard, I've never talked about this on the show before, but during all of this political stuff, I happened upon this pair of commentators, Crystal and Saga, that they were on the Hill TV. Yeah. So she's left and he's right. And so it really kind of comes together. They don't have shouting matches.
Kind of like almost like Hannity and Combs back in the day on Fox News kind of thing.
It could be, but that's like, both of that is on steroids.
Right.
And and almost like they oppose. You actually have to watch, and they're moderates. They're both moderate. Okay. Actually, Crystal's probably a little more.
They meet in the middle.
Yes, they do. They're both populists, and I'm a populist.
See, I can agree with that.
And I'm a populist, and I'm not going to agree with everything. Nobody's going to agree on all things, right? But I really enjoy hearing a left perspective that is reasonable, or that I can understand where it's coming from, and it isn't total batshit, right? Yeah. And anyway, so here's what happened. So they've covered all kinds of stuff. They've covered Epstein. They've covered Hunter's laptop. They've covered lots of things, and they finally had enough of the Hill. So they decided to break out on their own and go independent. Mm-hmm. And as part of that, you've seen a lot of people go Patreon, but instead what they did was super fans. So if you're a premium subscriber, which I am, then I get an email on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, like, here's a link, an unlisted link to their whole show. Otherwise, it's all released as clips, so you can see it all. Like, they covered this week where the tax returns for some of the billionaires in this country were leaked to this organization, and they showed like Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and all of these, and Crystal and Saga reported on it. We haven't seen anything like that in CNN. And the Biden administration, and Biden, what's the Biden administration say? Well, we got to get to the bottom of how that information got out there. We believe in, protecting the privacy of our citizens.
Yeah. It's about like the pipeline getting hacked and everything else. Oh, expect more of that. And that was their solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Just wait till the fucking power grid goes down and see what happens.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I'm just gonna throw out there their show is called Breaking Points now, so you can look up the Breaking Points YouTube channel.
It's actually pretty cool.
But anyway, they were scared. I mean, here they quit their job, they set up a studio, didn't know what was going to happen, but they have been overwhelmed with the number of people. They had 100,000 subscribers before they even had the first episode.
Well, I mean, that's actually the kind of news I want to listen to. I don't do the mainstream media thing. I don't do the whole bubble thing.
Right.
Because like so many of my friends in California I grew up with, I mean, they rely on CNN, MSNBC, and their super far left liberal shit to determine like what's going on today. And it's fucking annoying, I'm telling you.
Well, I would encourage people to check out Breaking Points on YouTube. I think they're doing a great job.
Well, good.
Yeah. So, and I love the idea that they broke away because they didn't agree with a lot of the advertising that was going on. Yeah. And they were kind of, you can't really tell, you can say whatever you want on your show, but, could you scale it back on this or whatever?
Well, now, I mean, to be fair, I will listen to the guys that I agree with.
Yeah, me too.
Which is, normally like, Paul Joseph Watson, Mark Dice, guys like that. And then, but I also listen to the other side or read the other side just to kind of see what the counterbalance is.
Yeah.
And then I make my decision from there. But for the most part, I mean, I do like certain people who I agree with.
I love the idea that they went independent and they're finding success.
I think it's great.
And that also they're already the number one podcast because they also leave it out they put it out as a podcast. Mm-hmm. So they're already beating the New York Times in the podcasting world for the number one political podcast.
Speaking of like the whole
media?
Political thing and the media thing. So my good friend Pat, who come in here earlier, she's a little left.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And so we had a conversation the other night, sitting there at dinner, and I explained to her how the Biden administration just freaking nixed the whole low income deal on insulin. So Trump signed an executive order that made insulin like affordable for people on low income, like I'm talking like poverty and below levels, to where they can get their insulin. And I guess probably because it was a Trump thing, Biden nixed it. Yeah. It's gone.
No, yeah. So now people have to decide whether they're going to eat and pay the rent.
And of course, Pat's like, you show me right now. Google it. So I Googled it, showed her.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about that anymore.
There you go.
That's how you get along with your little lefty friends.
All righty, so we're back to tech questions.
All right,
my little side mark there, but yeah, definitely check out Breaking Points, you guys. Just a great job out there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. All right, James is here, and Darren is here saying, "Hey guys," and I'm not sure if he's in Alaska or California right now, but hey to you, Darren. James is here. He says, "Hello, everyone. Do I need to run an ethanol carburetor with X04 race fuel?" I don't know what X04 is.
That's base stuff, I think. Or are you talking EX04? EX04 is like actually Sunoco. X04, I think it's that base E85.
So is it?
I'm not sure.
Well, answer the question whether it's an E85 because we're just not sure.
I mean, if it's an E85 based fuel, then yeah, you absolutely have to have an E85 carburetor.
Now, what is the difference between an E85 carburetor and a gas carburetor?
Everything in the metering box.
Everything is in metering box. Okay.
I mean, basically on E85, you have to move 33% more fuel roughly. So 30 to 33% more fuel to make an engine run on ethanol than what you do on, race gas, any kind of, even oxygenated race gas. And then like you can step up from that and go to methanol. And methanol is like 2.2 times the volume of liquid.
I knew that, yeah.
So you're talking 2 times as much.
So that's why you can't just like change the jets.
There's no such thing as a jet change or anything. It's specific fuel related carburetor.
That's really good to know. It's a question I get a lot, and I really didn't know the answer to. And so we're gonna have to definitely get that information out to a lot more people.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan said,
and I would suggest not running like anything that's like, if you can buy it on Summit, don't run it. That kind of rhymed.
Totally.
Yeah, if you can buy it on
Totally
Summit, don't run it.
Yeah.
So I'm not joking. I'm being serious. I mean, you need to go to a reputable carburetor. If you're going to like an E85, you need to like be with David Smith, Stealth, Willys, me, or not me, but my brother. I mean, like reputable carburetor builders who know what they're doing. Because if you buy it out of Summit and expect to go win, I'm sorry, man, you're gonna have a bad day.
And nobody, you know, and it's interesting. I talked to Willie one time about that carburetors really are one of those things that they can just ruin your night of racing.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you go there and you've got to adjust your carburetor, and then you dink around it with some more, and then like all you do the entire night is just dink around with the carburetor.
Around with your carburetor, and when you need to be worried about what you're doing with shocks, and
there's lots of other things,
load numbers and everything else.
We need to just dial in our carburetor before we ever get there and set it, forget it. All right, Ryan says one beer for y'all's team. Pound Virginia here, having a beer and enjoying it. Well, cheers, Ryan.
God, I love that name, Pound Virginia.
I do too. I like that too.
Is that like Virginia is for lovers?
Oh God, going to Pound
and he's
Town?
from Pound. He's from Pound Town, Virginia.
Oh my God, we're terrible. We're terrible. Plus, you were just making fun of me. So before this, I decided I went to the farmer's market yesterday and I got cabbage. And so you can see he walks into the kitchen and I've got this wood thing and I'm just hammering on this,
pounding the shit
out of the cabbage, right, to make sauerkraut. And he's like, "What are you doing?"
It's like the most German thing I've seen today.
So German. He's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's a kraut pounder." No, that's not a thing. Like, yeah, you can Google that. It's a kraut pounder is a thing. That's what I looked up.
Oh, I love how your Minnesota accent just came out there.
No, I just missed a vowel.
No, you just went kraut pounder.
Yeah, I really don't. I just didn't move I'm trying to smile and talk at the same time. All right. Chris is here saying, "Hey, Lucky Dog Racing. Hello, Kate and Steve. DJ from Sumter, South Carolina. I love watching you guys keep up the good work. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely." Chad,
I've raced at Sumter. I've raced at Sumter back in the Clash days.
Cool. Chad is here. Said, "Woke Steve." Are you woke?
I'm totally woke.
Oh man.
I forgot my fucking rainbow shirt today though.
Are you having pride?
Yeah.
Get some pride going on?
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I just get, when's Father's Day? Is that next week or?
That's next Sunday.
Okay. I'm just glad it's not today.
What the fuck's everybody getting?
Well, I don't know. I mean, who's your daddy? Is like, how many kids do you have? Well, you're not my daddy, so.
I know of 2. Biologically. one I adopted. 2 biologically. The rest I don't know about.
All right. Well, can I place a bet right now on which of your kids is going to get you a Father's Day gift?
The littlest one. Yep.
Yep.
My little guy will.
Yeah. Okay. I got a new question for you. Darren says, "Hey guys, what are common mistakes people make when scaling a car?" It's a good one.
Scaling the car.
Mm-hmm. What are the common mistakes?
Scaling the car.
Well, are you saying that having bad percentages?
It depends on the kind of car nowadays. I mean, a late model. I mean, we don't scale. I mean, all we do is put that thing on the scale and get like what our percentages are as far as like left side and front and rear, and that's it. I mean, everything else is done nowadays on a spring smasher. Well,
and I think Darren's got a street stock. And you're going to be familiar with that. The street stocks today are basically like late models were.
They were probably back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar. I mean, we were on leaf springs and all that stuff back in the day. I think like back then, like probably one of those common things that I remember that you concentrated too much on was probably crossweight. But that's like just something that like that's driver preference. I mean,
so where's the best place for this information? Would it be just kind of experimenting as a driver, asking a chassis builder? What would you say would be the best place?
I mean, if you got a car nowadays, unless you build it in your own garage by yourself, I mean, you've got a chassis builder of some sort. So I would definitely refer to the chassis builder for any of those percentage numbers that you're looking to get. But I don't know. I mean, I think like one of the common things back in the day was like, people with locked rear ends, and like you'd slam the car down on the scales and wouldn't release that left rear tire because you got stagger in the car, and like people wouldn't jack it back up and like get that get the tire to release. Because if you just set it down on the scales, I mean, that tire is loaded on the left rear and it gives you false numbers, stuff like that. But I mean, there's no, I don't know. If you do it the same way every time, I don't think there is a mistake you make.
That's great advice. Just doing it the same way every time. That's great. All right, Tom's here. He says, when running a flat air cleaner on 602, there's talk about extending vents on the carb to above the flat. Need your opinion.
What you're doing there is, like a lot of the cars nowadays, I don't care whether it's a street stock or whether it's a modified or a late model, the car is like this. Attitude is like this in the corner. So
angled, jacked up on the right.
So what you're doing is you're basically running your float levels as high as you can possibly get them without them like bleeding over. But when you do that, when you're in the middle of the corner, you get that mid-corner stumble where it's almost like the engine's running underwater. I don't even know how to explain it other than that. I mean, it's what it sounds like. Yeah. So basically the engine's flooding over. So what we're doing is like the simple fix is to run a crossover tube from the back vent tube to the front vent tube up as high as you can get it, a big loop, and then obviously cut a hole at the top where it can still vent. The technical solution is to run a Willys
equalizer.
No, run the Willys
Super Bowl. Okay.
So that's it's
good. All right, Richard has a question. He says, do you have any Hendren 602s race ready available?
I do not. No, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a hard no. I try.
I mean, it's right now it's so difficult. I mean, 602s. We had them there for a while, and then they went extinct again. 604s right now, like they're essentially non-existent, but GM's like releasing one or two to dealerships right now. But then you either the dealership either needs to, like, you're on the buddy list where they call you and say we got one, or they don't. And if you don't, then it's first come first serve, and it's a total cluster right now. 602s and 604s. Yeah,
it's a challenge. Nigel says, how many shots of whiskey are in Kate's coffee? I'm actually drinking a Chelada today. So there was like a Bud Light with my Clamato.
So 4.
Yeah. No. All right. Rosa is here. She says, in the car versus out of the car for driver is a huge thing we found between different chassis builders with scaling.
Well, there is that.
For sure, yeah.
Now, me personally, I've always, back in the day when we scaled.
You can talk about this for a minute, right?
No, because it's like going to take 30 seconds. What do you need?
I was going to make another drink.
All right, well, give it to me because I'll answer this real quick and you keep them going.
Okay.
So back in the day when we scaled, I did everything with the driver in the car because the driver's in the car when you race.
Right.
And that weight, a long time ago, we had chassis builders like, the average race car driver was like 180. Well, what if you're 110 or 205? It makes a difference.
Well, I remember my dad
back then, and with a lot of the stuff nowadays, I think it still does. But
I remember my dad always putting lead weights in the driver's seat.
Yeah, you got to put your body weight, to me, always in the driver's seat. So
I didn't realize there was another way to do it.
No.
Doesn't make sense any other way.
Right.
For sure. Cool.
All right, so you need another
Chelada with Bud Light.
Or whiskey?
I'm assuming no.
No? You just talk. You do what you do best and just talk.
Oh my God. If you didn't hear that, he said, you do what you do best and just talk. Great. Yeah. All right. If you have any questions for me, then definitely drop them into the drop them into the chat there because I know I'm not the tech person on this particular thing, but I am product. So if you have any product questions, then that would be good. Oh, Tom says, any wine lately? Yeah, I've got a whole stockpile of wine. I know you sent some. We haven't cracked those open yet, so I know we need to. It's been brutally hot here, so it's more like cool beer drinking weather here because it's currently 80 something. I don't even know. Oh, my computer says it now. It's 82 degrees and sunny, so it's really hot here. And super humid. So we're more of like spring and fall kind of wine drinkers, or maybe at night when it's cooled down. So we have not cracked those open yet. I did buy some new wine racks too that I need to hang up in my house here in the Barcelona area, but haven't had a chance yet. So yeah, busy with setting up the warehouse, and that's been it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Yeah. I also did pick up a new hobby. So my new hobby is playing that silly Pokemon Go game and like chasing around Pokemon all over the place. It's ridiculous. Steve, I'm surprised he hasn't made fun of me about it yet, but did it with the family and it was a lot of fun. And so now me and my son, Curtis Lake, we've been tracking down some Pokemon and doing some adventuring. So I'd be curious if any of you are Pokemon Go players, because it's a lot of fun. You can get a little exercise and it's challenging to try to just beat the tasks and things like that. Oh, Rosa's here. Pokemon Go is great. See, I knew I wouldn't be alone. Yay. I knew I would not be alone. It's a popular game. I never played the card game, and I'm definitely older than watching the cartoons. I didn't have kids that age, so yeah, I never really got into any of that. I mean, I understood the basic concept. You got to catch them all. So it really does feed that in me about the thing about being a collector or being challenged and battling and trying to figure out the stats. All of that really feeds into my personality. So it really is a good. All right. Tom says, how much did the oil prices go up? That's a really good question. They went up. Schaefer's went up 8%. And I don't have revised pricing on the Daytona one. Well, wait, Daytona one's going up too. And if Klotz has gone up, they haven't informed me yet. But Schaefer's was 8%. Oh, and Rosa, I'm a red team Valor. Valor for life.
What?
Pokemon Go.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Me and Rosa are both.
Don't tell me you found a dork squad on here too.
I totally did. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh, so what do you think about my new mug from Uli?
What do you think about my fucking chelada?
I haven't tasted it yet. Looks like there's lots of pepper.
I
so
sported it up a little bit.
I'm guessing. Yeah, are you trying to kill me?
Yeah.
Yummy.
Oh, see.
You did well.
I know.
You did well, Stevenson.
I watch a Mexican or two make that shit, so I'm good.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you totally have. Now Tom asked us if we drank any wine lately, and I told him we just don't really drink when it's hot like this.
Yeah, wine. I'm not a hot wine drinker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pretty much when it's this time of the year, I'm drinking beer. Of course, I drink beer pretty much all the freaking time, but I mean, yeah.
I finally get it because I've kind of lived in climate controlled environment. Like I work in climate control most of the time.
Yeah.
But now with the warehouse, I'm out and about. I'm in the warehouse. I'm, sweating. We've got a
Which
fan
is not
in there.
Climate controlled.
No, it's not. I mean, we got offices over there, but
yeah.
I'm running out to the shop to get parts and
right.
back and forth between there and definitely sweating and I finally do understand like, oh, now I kind of get this whole like why beer is refreshing at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Because you're just like sweating and hot and like hot on the inside and totally kind of get it now. So. Yep. So we did get a good question here. Dylan says, what are your thoughts on mixing pump gas, the pump 93 and 110?
I don't like it. Number one, you'll never get the mixture the same twice in a row.
Now I do sell carburetors that are meant for that. So like David Smith carburetors.
You do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm just not a fan. I mean, stick to one or the other. I mean, if you're gonna run 93, right? Why are you gonna mix 93 and 110? There's no reason to do it. So either pick one or the other. I mean, 93 is going to make more power than 110. So if it was me, I'd just pick the 93 and run that if you're on a budget when it comes to fuel.
Huh.
So,
wow. I hadn't heard that before from you. I mean, we've talked about this before, but
well, I mean, 110 does not belong in anything under 11-to-1 compression.
well,
So I mean,
I remember when we did some fuel testing with Klotz.
Now, well, that being said, I will recommend like if you go up into Rush Country up north,
Yeah,
I will recommend the 110 because their other option is 91.
Okay.
And I do not trust that 91 in the heat of the summer on a hot, humid night. You're lugging the engine. I can see where detonation can happen. So I always recommend the 110 up there.
Well, I mean, and I remember meeting with John Klotz when we were doing fuel testing, and he had said, what he'd noticed was that basically anything over 100 octane was pretty much lost on a crate engine.
Unless it's oxygenated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a really important
part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very important part of that. Now, if we're talking about 93 and 110, we're talking about neither of those are oxygenated.
Well, 93 could be because it's got E85. I mean, ethanol mixed in with it.
Well,
normally, I mean, the federal government allows them to put up to 10% E85, or ethanol in pump gas. So.
Well, let's talk about what we actually do recommend at that for that kind of grouping or category, whatever.
Right.
Is that if you're going to go with 93, at least, or whichever, 93 or 110, to go with a racing gas, you're buying it by the
pump.
Buying it by the barrel, just because you know what you're getting. You've got this consistent fuel.
Pump gas is always an issue. I honestly never recommend it. Because you've got like these tanks are in the ground that, because they're in the ground, they're going to get water content to them. If you fill your race car up on the day that they put fresh gas in the tank, great. If it's 3 weeks later and it's down to the bottom, you get half water content. There's an issue there.
I'm
partial water.
I'm gonna share with you. Maybe you hadn't heard this before, but you don't want gas on the day that they delivered. And the reason why is because as they pump that in, it's pushing. It's now, if I took a beer and I just dumped it, now I'm kicking up any sediment or anything else.
Yeah, it's going to mix it up, whatever. So I get that. But I still don't want the day before they deliver pump gas.
You don't want the dregs, and you don't want it freshly in between. So maybe a day or two afterwards or something.
But you can't control that.
No, and that's the important part. I know another tip I'd heard was to have like a 55-gallon drum and get a 55-gallon drum of yourself, and that way any sediment will fall to the bottom, and your carburetor will be set up perfectly for that fuel for as long as it lasts.
As another example, like my car, I have to run 93 in it, right? My son's car, which is a turbocharged Subaru, he has to run 93 in it as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now with his car, because it's turbocharged, he's got NOx sensors, all this crazy shit, right? That displays on his dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He went the other day and bought fresh 93, which is what he thought it was, and his NOx sensors going off and all this crazy shit. Well, that's not freaking 93. So a lot of times they'll put, depending on the fuel company and how sleazy they are, they might be putting 87 in a 93 pump. And you're paying double for the same shit.
It could be. We're tired of people bitching and saying that we don't have 93. So here you go.
Exactly.
Oh, look, we've got 93. You can stop your whining.
That does happen. Now, he solved his whole problem by putting octane booster in it, and that solved the problem. But
that's good. But it could have happened to you, and you wouldn't have known.
It could have happened to my car, and I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Unless I heard it. But.
The Matrix is perfectly happy with 87. Matrix don't care.
Fucking Matrix.
My Toyota Matrix. I'd really love the van, though. The van doesn't care either.
Right.
Van's like, nah, I'm good.
The Brandon Ford van.
Yes, Brandon Ford. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, we got more here. And Tom had a question asking about oil prices going up, and he said they're seeing prices increase 5 to 12%. It's interesting. I've gotten that question quite a bit.
Schaefer's went up what, 8?
Yeah, 8. Yeah, and I know that Daytona went up on some of theirs, but I didn't actually look at it myself. I just sent it over to Tori. But we're seeing that, and I was talking to someone the other day, and they asked, if we'd seen the effects, of what's going on in the world. And I said, if there's one time that I'm really, really glad that I don't have a catalog, it's right now. Because this is not when we see price increases. We see price changes in November, right ahead of PRI.
In January.
Or we get them in January. Yeah, exactly. We never see price increases in June.
Yeah.
Unless I've dropped the ball.
And GM's been blowing our inboxes up with price increases like all year.
Yeah. I mean, it's month after month, and then we have to hunt for the thing that's the thing that we have. It's very frustrating.
So, like a lot of times,
everybody's frustrated. Well, nobody's gouging anybody, is what I really want to put out there.
No, they're not. But like a lot of times, like I've got like stuff that's like let's say somebody calls and says, "Hey, I want a 604 complete package." Well, I've got all this stuff pre-done up, and I'm finding I'm having to change this shit every week.
Oh you're like, you've got this whole
whether
itemized list.
Whether I can get it, whether I can't, what GM's done on pricing. Because I mean the 604s that are coming out that are going to be coming out, they're going up $300, just like 602s just did.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucked if I already got a damn deposit on something 3 months ago,
right? On
something they're waiting on.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like pass it on to the customer and be like, oh well, shit. I ate shit and lose $300.
Yeah. Now, do you need us to put together a spreadsheet so it can add up automatically? Because I know yours is like a Word document.
We don't know when they're going to add up automatically. Is the problem?
No. I mean, I'm saying that you're.
Oh. Well,
I'm just offering because, I'm the queen of the nerd squad over here. So. Just saying, I am.
Pokemon Go.
I know. Hey, I just bring it all.
Jeez
bring it.
Christ.
Bring it. All right. Steve said, Jim says, Steve, a few episodes back, you said you would rather have torque over horsepower.
Yes.
Would it be better to advance or retard the crankshaft on the torque side?
You mean the camshaft?
Well, I am reading, so he might mean camshaft. I don't know, but you can go ahead and answer however you would like to answer.
Well, I mean, it depends on the application. Like on the crate stuff we do, we can't advance or retard the cam much. So, I mean, normally, like if you retard it, you're going to gain torque. Advance it, you're going to gain horsepower. I mean, that's, I wouldn't.
But in the crate stuff, we don't mess with it because we can't, right?
Well, I mean, you can manipulate things a little bit, but not and be legal. So.
Good. Well, it occurs to me that somebody asked me what I was drinking earlier about my coffee. Well, we haven't talked about what we're drinking today. What are you drinking, Steve? Beer. Okay. Now I'm drinking a chelada. Hey, it's just a thing. It's a thing on our show.
But like, yeah, I mean, and
oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about that.
No. I mean, here's something that's funny. I mean, like if the cam is ground correctly, you're not going to notice. All right. So I've had guys like back in the day when we did a lot of super engines, I had one customer of mine and I'd build him Ford stuff and he'd come to us and be like, oh man, I think I need more torque. Can you do anything with the camshaft? Yep. So I time it straight up. Oh, that's all the difference in the world. That's fucking awesome. Then he'd come back, get it freshened up again, and he'd be like, I think I need more horsepower. Can you do anything with the camshaft? Oh yeah, I'll freaking tweak the camshaft around a little bit. Put it right back the same way. And what did he say? Oh, that's all perfect. The difference in the world. That's fucking perfect. Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So normally if a camshaft is ground correctly, you're not going to notice anything.
Interesting.
You know? Because we're talking like let's say you just buy a comp cam and put in your, I don't know, 11-to-1 compression 350 Chevy engine, and you're like, oh, I'm going to advance this thing 6 degrees or retard it 6 degrees to do whatever. There's nothing you're going to fucking notice. I mean, we're talking like minuscule. I mean, nowhere near the difference between winning or losing a race. I'll just put it that way.
I would like to say, is it the difference between first and 10th?
No, absolutely not. It's a different. I mean, sometimes. I mean, if you tell the customer that this is going to be the difference between first and 10th, fucker might go out and win a race. Is what I'm getting.
It's the psychosomatic.
Correct.
This is the psychosomatic change we're making to your engine here. All right, got a new question. Ronnie says, "Hey Steve, I run a street stock with a 355 cubic inch. I have a single pass radiator, and I am overheating with a double pass 2-row 1 inch. 1 inch be better and keep me from overheating."
All right. Sorry.
Okay. I have a single. There we go. Hey, Steve. Actually, I forgot to put these questions on the screen. I'm so sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, Steve. I run a street stock. There you go. With a 355 cubic inch engine, and I'm overheating. Would a double pass?
Yeah, it would.
Would a double pass 2-row be better?
Yeah. I mean, but then there's also other equations to that, like what kind of fuel you're running. If you're on race gas or something like that, and you definitely need a shroud. But yeah, double pass is almost always better than single pass, unless you're like on methanol or something like that.
We've got a really good video on that, actually, talking about double pass.
Do not use triple pass though.
Yeah.
Not on dirt.
So. Yeah. Oh, Gary Benfield is here. He says, "Hey, got a pole and ran second last week at Fayetteville Street Stock. Thank you, guys.
Good deal.
Fantastic, Gary and Susie. Yeah, thank you for being here and congratulations on that. Absolutely, that's great. Yeah, I was slacking. I mean, I don't do one show and now I forget to put the questions on the screen. I suck. Yeah, you should have caught me.
I mean, what the fuck, Kate?
I know. I just
It's that chalada I made you. You're like too dumbfounded by it.
Well, no, I was dumbfounded with my other one, and now that this has helped me get my shit together. Yeah. So thank you, Steve.
It's a little peppery.
It's a lot peppery.
It's good though.
It's good. It's just a lot peppery.
Let me try.
Yeah, between you and Curtis Lake trying to give me spicy stuff. I'm a Minnesota girl.
Oh yeah, that's fucking good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Ronnie says thank you. So that's good. I think that double pass. You get a lot of great compliments on that.
Yeah, I mean and then when you're on the double pass, run unrestricted. In other words, don't put nothing stupid in the frickin' water neck. Don't do no restrictor, no nothing, because the double pass itself is enough restriction.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's going to reduce flow like by 33%. So
cool. What else you got? Any other like wise information? Any other current events that you've been on top of? Because I've been so busy, I haven't been on top of anything.
Just waiting on Arizona to be done.
Oh yeah. It's interesting to watch how the media has set themselves up for the
epic fail. Well,
the media result is going to be the same regardless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Mikey's here. He says, "A nice shirt. It's dirt wrap and Profab." Absolutely. Yep. I'm talking to my brother a lot. Any of our vendors who were part of the show this last year for the Cars Racing Show, you're going to hear from me this week because we have a prototype floor plan. And
really?
Yep.
That's impressive.
Yeah, we're excited. So we'll start getting those.
So we are doing that again this year.
We are doing it January 7th and 8th of 2022.
There you go.
Yep. So we're very excited about that. I mean, we've known for a while, but we had to really dial some things in. We got that whole other bay. That other bay was taken up last year and really kind of put a wrench in like getting trailers and stuff in there. But with this year, we'll be able to expand. That'll
be badass.
Yeah. It really has an opportunity to be a really badass show. I think we all pulled together. It's not just like me and my brother. I feel that show, it's not even a feeling. The feedback has been so incredible that for what it was and for when it was and how it had to be done.
And how you pulled it off.
Oh man, I'll tell you, that had to be when I had to be braver than I've ever been in my life. It would have been much, much easier to say, you know what, this is just too hard. It's time to walk away. And I'm not very good at that. I'm not very good at quitting. Just saying, I'm not. And so I'm really glad that, honestly, in the end, it was just so phenomenal for so many reasons. Anybody that's part.
Well, I mean, to me, I'm somebody that goes to PRI every year. You do too.
I do.
No, I mean, you can't replace that. I'm not throwing off on PRI by any means, but I'm telling you that the show you all put on was, it was more personable. It was more like people could come and talk to me, or I could go talk to people, where you don't get that at the show where like everybody's crowded the aisleways collecting stickers.
Well, I think the biggest piece was, so, I love PRI. I said great things.
We'll be there this year, so.
I put out my PSA this week where hotel registration opened up. So, I do help to try to promote PRI. I mean, they don't ask me to or anything, but, I'm a big supporter of what they do.
Right.
At the same time, there's about 100 booths that I want to go to out of the 1,300. And I know what we tried to do with our show, our Hickory Trade Show, was we took those 100 booths and put them in one place.
Right.
So that we weren't having to walk by.
There was no bullshit.
No. Well, I mean, it's not that it's bullshit. It's just, it doesn't apply.
I don't have to walk by a go-kart booth to get to a freaking late model booth.
No, because we are circle track and we're mostly dirt. Yeah. There's a lot that crosses over between the dirt and the asphalt, but we're mostly a circle track dirt show. Yeah. And we're going to be pretty crate heavy, just given the people who are involved. Yeah. I mean, that's what I do every day. And we're in North
Carolina, so I mean, that's what
we have now. It is. So it'll be what I really loved. What I loved about our show is that a racer could come there. They could not have to worry about any of the shortages or anything else that was going on. If it was there, you could buy it. You could pick it up or take something with you and haul it out to your car and take it home. You didn't have to worry about shipping. Correct. None of that other stuff.
Yeah, it was a buy show. So, I mean, you can come there and buy the product at the show. Yeah,
you could buy, or you could go ahead and put it was December last year. This year it's going to be January, but you can get on the list. I mean, whether you want to get t-shirts done, whether you need you need to be measured for a fire suit, you need to be measured for a seat. Right. There's a lot of that in-person stuff that it's so easy to get wrong unless you have the professionals do it for you. Like getting measured for a seat, custom seat or a custom fire suit. There's so many intricacies.
And I mean, you can do that at PRI, but I think y'all show like last year, it was like more. I mean, it's still it's more personable. I mean, is what it is. I mean, honestly,
we're never going to have 50,000 people there, nor would we want. I mean, and last year, of course, our attendance was limited. It was like we could only have so many people in the building at one time because of the whole COVID thing. Yeah. So we won't be restricted by that this coming year, but still we're not going to be so overwhelmed. And the thing is, we're also not going to be trying to get like fans off the street just to just to take pictures. I'm not about vanity metrics. I don't need 1 million YouTube subscribers because there's not 1 million racers that are.
No, there's not.
I'm just not into vanity metrics.
Well, I mean, I hate to say
I don't want random soccer moms walking through the aisles.
I hate to say this. We don't need the race fans to come there.
Well, that's not who it's for. No. If we want to have a race fan section and maybe with drivers signing some autographs and we want to put that in, we could put it as a certain section. But I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't. I just want to connect with my customers.
You know what I loved about the whole show?
What did you love?
You guys pulled that shit off, even though some asshole tried to shut it down.
Totally did. He totally tried to shut us down actively.
Tom
Sandal. Not only tried to report us to the health department, then even went to the governor's office and everything, and tried. So I mean,
don't buy anything from that asshole. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tomcat. Sorry.
Wow. Yeah, cancel culture. All right. Oh, Brian Littleton series says, "Hey guys, hot weather in Arkansas. Racelogic is working on next year's classes. Some exciting new places in the works." Oh, Brian, I'm so excited. Racelogic, I think, has been it's
a game changer.
It's a game changer, and it's such a great opportunity to come together. I'm so proud of the work that I've done with Racelogic. I mean, as far as just getting the cameras and the videos and getting the website set up and stuff. So, my goodness. And if you're somebody who's watching and has not checked out the online classes that Racelogic offers, it's racelogic.vip. I honestly, if I was a racer, well, I mean, it's a game changer for me. I sell these parts, and I learned so much being at these classes.
Well, I've already committed to going.
Yeah.
For the late model deal.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I'll be for all of them. You just have to make it work.
And I had a good time. I mean, last year was a freaking great time. I mean, here's what's funny is like I went there last year not knowing what to expect. I mean, Kate had kind of told me how it goes. And so I go there going, oh, yeah, I kind of know it all. And then I get there, and then I find out I don't. About race cars.
Right.
Well.
That you could actually learn something.
Yeah, and I actually learned something, which was freaking amazing. And I also learned it from, like, my own customers. So I'm like, shit. Apparently I need to pay more attention to what's going on. And Matt Henderson, CVR, all them guys,
Oh, yeah. I think that's great.
It's pretty amazing. And then I also got to, like, hang out with, like, a bunch of customers that I would normally not hang out with.
Right.
Because they were, like, down from Indianapolis or that area, Indiana. I mean, we had a fucking great time. I mean, it was awesome.
Well, and what I think is, I don't care what it is that you want to learn, whether it's you're trying to learn how to cook or you're learning about race cars or learning computer stuff. It doesn't matter. It's a pretty quick climb from like 0 to 50, to get the basics to get there, you can kind of get there. But at some point, that's why they call it a learning curve, because at some point it is exponentially more difficult to come across information that really adds value for you.
Especially in the sport.
And especially when you're already at, I know you don't love the whole expert status, but you do this stuff every single day.
Right.
You do a lot of testing with the things that you work with. So for you've heard, you hear some of these things from like 1975 and you're like, dude, we did that. We had lift spring cars.
But no, I mean, you look at the presenters that were there.
Yeah.
The presenters at this school. Like and I get what you're saying. I mean, I'm just
saying it's harder to gain more knowledge as you get more informed.
But like the cool thing about it is like you got presenters there that are like they're not holding nothing back.
No.
They're not like, okay, I'm going to tell you this much, but then you got to buy my $10,000 freaking help package to figure shit out. No, these are guys like throwing shit out there. And hey, if you want to use my business, here I am.
Right.
Which was completely awesome to me.
Well, I mean, I think it's a lot. I think it's really in line a lot with our show too. I mean, you can buy your parts anywhere. You can buy your engines everywhere. I mean, I care, but
I don't.
But why do people want to do business with us? It's because, I mean, either you like us or you don't. If you don't buy from us. Maybe you get.
What did I tell you when the whole Crate Insider thing started? Tell the audience right now. Like, because it's no secret that you and I are like in business together in Crate Insider.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell the audience what I told you the very first time we thought of this whole concept.
Well, I said, hey, bring you on as like an expert. And you're like, yeah, not everybody likes me. And I was like, what? But
really?
And I'm all like googly eyes over this guy, been dating him for like 8 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that people wouldn't like you. But now I found out that, now it's not really that big of a surprise.
It's extremely fucking true, right?
It is. Well, but I think a lot of it is people don't like you for the reputation that you've had, like your reputation of being an asshole.
It's normally the bluntness,
which you are an asshole.
Well, I am.
But people watching can be like, you know what? He's an asshole, but he's my kind of asshole.
Well, I mean, and honestly, and I'm not making up anything at all. I learned that from my dad because my dad used to be like on this website called 4M.
Yeah.
And he was the guy on there who would tell you how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody either liked him, loved him, or hated him.
Yeah.
It was amazing the people that liked him and loved him.
Right.
Versus the ones that hated him when he passed away.
Right.
Is what I'm getting at. So,
yeah.
I mean, I mean, that's just how I was born and raised, and I'm not pulling any punches. I mean, fuck, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
I got my opinions. I mean, and I ain't saying like listen to everything I say. I mean, there's plenty of people out there with other damn opinions that are completely contradictory.
I don't listen to
mine.
everything Steve says.
No, well, probably not. But
no, I don't.
If you did, you'd be like subservient Kate.
Yeah. Wow.
Mrs. Slave. You know, that kind of thing. But
yeah.
no, I mean, don't do that. I mean, just take it for what it is. Evaluate it. If it works in your fucking program, then go with it.
Yeah.
You know?
If
it doesn't, then don't.
Well, yeah. I think I like to say in life there are multiple right answers for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Now Brian is saying, Steve, you got to give yourself some credit. You were huge to the racers, and yeah, I mean, honestly, having an engine expert there, that's not something that we've seen. I've been to several Racelogic classes, and it's really bringing. There's a lot with the crate engine of trying to maximize those.
Honestly, I'd like to do more than what I did this last time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I touched on a lot of the stuff that I wanted to touch on, mostly because I was like all, camera shy and
well, yeah, you have been typically.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I was a little more reserved.
Well, it's even on this show where I can't get up to make a drink because you're like, what do I do with my hands?
Well, no, it's like, it's like total fucking.
You're like, you can do this. No, but I thought you did a great job, Steve. You really did. Got another question for you though. Mike says, hey, a Pump 93 versus Sunoco 110. What are the performance differences?
The 93, if it's not, well, it kind of depends. 93 will normally make more power than what 110 will. I'm not talking like the difference between winning and losing races. I'm talking like, depending on the engine, probably 5 to 8 horsepower or something like that, and probably the same in torque. But again, the Pump 93, you just don't know what you're buying.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, I could dyno you today on this Pump 93 you bought, and then next week they got, rather than 10% ethanol content, they got 15% or they got 5%. And it completely changes how the damn engine runs, which is normally when it's like a 110 or a 93 rule, I'll go with 110, even though I know it makes less power.
Yeah.
But it's consistent.
Well, and especially like this, if he's talking about Pump 93, which is a wild card, just like you talked about
Correct.
with Alex having not 93 that he just put in his car.
Yeah.
Versus a Sunoco 110 is going to have that consistency.
Exactly.
For sure. All right. Danny says hi. And Vaughn is here. Vaughn from Pit Skylights, which Vaughn, cool. I need to call you. It says, this whole back order in America is very sad. We are having a horrible time getting circuit boards for our Pit Skylights. We just received an order of 20 boards when we normally receive an order of 300.
Oh, good God.
That's been the challenge.
Yeah, it's like everywhere, man.
It's
unbelievable.
It's just unbelievable. Absolutely.
Oh, hey, didn't you speaking of Vaughn?
Uh-huh.
And we had this whole conversation like 2 weeks ago about like the scammers that were like imitating his pit lights.
Right.
And then like doing the whole 85-pound valve spring thing.
Yep.
Didn't you like do a whole 85-pound valve spring thing?
I sure did.
There
I put out 85-pound valve springs are bullshit. It was
right.
what you and I talked about on the show a couple weeks ago, but I took that and had Tori take it and cut out that section and put that out there. Because we came about this close to actually saying who it is. But for the next question that I get about, that's going to be the video that we continuously send out.
We'll actually name names here next time because you're a bunch of fucking douchebags.
Yeah. But I know Vaughn has really had to deal with a lot of people copying him.
Oh, absolutely.
But I definitely I want to get some Pit Skylights because there's some cool stuff and. For sure. We need to do like an installation video there for you too, Vaughn. And that way you'd have more to just more to sell, more to get out there. All right. Brett says, people hate honesty. I like the way Steve is a straight shooter and tells it like it is. You are.
I don't know how else to be, man.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I mean,
forgetting about my
like blow wind up your ass. I mean, there's no reason to do that. I mean, I just is what it is.
And Danny says, Kate and Steve love this. Gives our local racers a bit of knowledge and saves on the pocketbook. Knowledge is welcomed.
Ultimately, like, all right, so go back to my dad, who I was talking about earlier. So my dad's main goal, because he grew up racing, he paid for his own shit. He was a drag racer now, and he didn't do any circle track stuff until basically I came along. But everything he did on his own. So his ultimate goal was to save everybody as much money as possible, which he passed on to me, which I would like to do. I mean, if it's going to save you money and be, something practical for you in your scenario, I'm going to tell you how to do it. There's certain things. I get calls from customers all the time, and they're like, "Hey, now, I'm wearing the shirt, Profab, but I get people that call all the time. They're like, hey, I'm racing in Podunk, Mississippi, and track slick and blah, blah, blah. What headers do I need? Do I need to buy the Profabs?" And I'll tell them straight up, no, you don't. You know why? Because you're better off spending, $400 on a set of Schoenfelds and going and run your little local track, because you don't need the power, and then spend that extra money on tires than you are on buying the Profabs. Now, if you go to Gaffney, South Carolina and go race, I'm going to say, buy these son of a bitches. Otherwise, you're not even the ballpark.
Yeah, you're not.
So, I'm not going to lie to somebody. I'm going to just tell them how it is for where they're at.
No, I completely agree. And, I'd like to phrase it differently as far as rather than just trying to save people money, because sometimes, I get into those conversations. Like recently here, I was, getting an alarm system, and, part of a conversation of, doing a walkthrough of trying to get an estimate,
right.
You hear some of the, well, here, I could save you money here or whatever. At some point, like, okay, stop with the trying to save me money and everything, and let's talk about exactly what I need in order to achieve my goals.
Right.
And then we can try to decide what's going to be the best solution. I'd rather have the best solution than rather the cheapest solution. I don't want the most expensive, but there's some ground there in the middle.
Correct.
And just like you, when I talk to a customer, it's funny when I was first started doing this, and people would call me and say, hey, what's the best distributor? And or whatever, doesn't matter what it is. So I'd type it, text a message to you and be like, hey, Steve,
message me.
Hey, Steve, I have a customer question. What's the best distributor? And he's like, what kind of car do they have? What kind of engine? Where are they racing? I'm like, I don't know. I just want the answer. That's all I want. I just want the answer. This is so frustrating. And now I'm that guy. So I'm like, okay, all right, where are you racing? What kind of car do you have? Okay, what kind of chassis? What engine? What kind of fuel are you running? It's like the whole gamut in order to find what is going to be the best solution for a particular combination. Right. Yeah. And that saves you money because you don't end up buying stuff 2 and 3 times because it's wrong.
Well, I'm not going to sell you something you don't need.
No, I don't either. No. And do you know how many calls I send away all the time?
I should not say that because I will. So if somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm racing in Podunk, wherever, but I want this, and you cannot convince me otherwise, then I'm going to sell it to them.
Yeah, I'll give you whatever you want. Yeah,
I've got no problem with that.
For sure. All right, Jerry's got a good question for you. He says, question for Steve. Not for me.
You gonna post it on the screen?
Yeah, I will do that. 602 Crate spark plugs are black and wet, but the car runs really well. Car is fast time. Lowest RPM is 3,800 in the corner, and our peak torque is 3,900.
Ignore the spark plugs.
Okay.
100%. I actually had this question this week.
Really? Okay.
So, number one, unless you have like a NASCAR dude reading your spark plugs in the pit area, they're not going to tell you shit. Unless you shut that engine off at full throttle at the end of the straightaway and coast into the pit area without starting it back up, spark plugs tell you nothing. So normally on these crate engines, everything's going to be black. It's going to be soot black, especially if you idle into the pit area.
Well, and he's saying that he has a run. He runs a 6,000 chip, hitting it 4 to 5 times, and with CHP fuel and a VDL carburetor for the crate.
Well,
so
CHP, I mean, that's what you get.
Yeah,
it's black.
Oh,
and because of the manifold vacuum these things pull, we're extremely. I mean, I don't care who's building your carburetor. Normally, they're super freaking rich on the bottom end. So, again, if you're idling into the pit area, you cannot get a spark plug reading. Even if you do get one, you got to have I don't know, freaking whatever, name an NASCAR engine builder. You got to have that dude reading your fucking plugs. So.
Well, and now with that, if they're like black and wet, and you said ignore them, but do you change them more frequently, or do you just go with it?
Normally, like on plugs, we'll change plugs probably about. I mean, if you're in the right heat range and everything, which most people are, with the recommendations that are out there, probably about every 3 or 4 races. You're going to change plugs. I mean, plugs are cheap. I mean, we're talking like under $30.
Yeah.
So change your plugs. Yeah.
Well, and even with shortages, now we even have a new, just to kind of in case. So I have my auto lights because I can't get NGKs, but also have some AC Delcos now that you've approved of.
And there's nothing wrong with those.
Yeah.
They don't last as long as the other ones.
Okay.
Which they don't.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with them, and it's one of the plugs I recommend. So.
Yeah. Great. Okay, now this is definitely a sensitive question for you, Steve.
All right, okay.
Radar 101 Full says, will Steve sell me an engine sometime? I hear him talk about long hair hippies. I'm long haired and bearded, but more of a mountain man.
Hey, all right. So, Hazard, Kentucky. What was the freaking
Dukes of Hazzard?
No. Like, what was the big rivalry? It was the
the Hatfields and McCoys.
All right. So I've sold engines at Hatfields. I got no problem selling you an engine.
I feel like the McCoys,
And this dude literally showed up at my shop with that whole freaking
like ZZ
Top beard.
Oh wow.
And the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I got no problem, man. We're good.
Yeah. Oh, you got some long-haired friends too.
Yeah.
You even have hippie friends.
Well,
come on.
I'm from California.
I'm saying here. I mean, Jimmy Joe.
Jimmy Joe.
Come on.
But I am from California, so I got no problem with that. I just bag on hippies because they're kind of funny.
It's like, well, there's not a lot of hippies who watch our show, and it's it's easy pickings, right? You gotta go with what's easy sometimes.
Right.
Well, Brett says, FYI, NGK is the manufacturer for AC Delco plugs. Interesting.
Yep.
I did not know that. Means
learn something new every day.
In Japan. Interesting. Yeah. Don't know why NGK plugs are just so unobtainium. I look every day.
I don't know either.
I don't either.
Crazy.
Yeah, but any final thoughts before we sign off, Steve?
I've got none.
Really? No final thoughts? Anything that you're looking at this week? What's your plan for the week? While you're going to see Alex race practice?
Get engines out the door.
Okay. That's good.
That's about it.
Good. I'm going to get products out the door, and I'm going to try to get more in. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for being part of the show. And to catch the replay, you can find us on Crate Insider and Facebook and YouTube.
Look at my hand. Look at my hand.
Over at weird. It's the light.
So,
it's the light.
Yeah, I know, but look.
You always have to you always. Okay. Can I do my outro now?
Oh, look.
Yeah.
It's like fucking weird.
It's like the hand of Steve. Yeah. All right. Anyway, to catch the podcast, you can find us on any of your podcast providers like iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any of those, or you can find us at RacingInsidersPodcast.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
See you.